Welcome to Cookbook Corner, the show where two librarians test drive some cookbooks from our collection. My name is Lindsay.
I'm Brent.
And today we have each chosen a cookbook. And why don't you tell us what cookbook you chose today?
Today I've got Desified by Din, and the whole idea of Desified is that Desi refers to the people and culture of basically the Indian subcontinent. Pakistan, Bangladesh, India. It's a good one. I liked it.
Great. I did the thing again. I went into my own collection, made sure we had it here, and thought I bought this book 5 years ago and I've actually yet to cook from it, so forced myself to get into it. I chose Whole Food Cooking Every Day by Amy Chaplin. This is her second book. Her first one won a James Beard Award, actually. But yeah, we'll get a little bit more into that later on. So what did you cook out of your cookbook?
Okay, so I went a little goofy on this because I love Indian food.
You took that workshop, didn't you?
Yeah, a while back. So I made 3 things.
Overachiever.
So yeah, I know, I got a little ambitious. I got hungry. So I made chole masala, which is listed under breakfast items. That is it's a spicy chickpea curry with a tomato and onion thing going on. You can serve it with rice or flatbreads. I made butter chicken, which is a marinated, broiled, boneless pieces of chicken in a spicy sauce. And I made aloo keema, which is potatoes and ground meat curry. It usually recommends beef or lamb. I used venison. I liked all 3 of them.
All right, did you have a favorite out of those 3?
They're different for different reasons. They all had a lot of stuff going on. I think that I love chickpeas. So my favorite might have been the chole masala. I brought you a little bit of that.
You did, and it's long gone. I really liked it.
It's got a lot of things going on there.
I have to say, he walked into the staff room after I just microwaved it. He said, something smells really good. And I was like, are you trying to do a humble brag, or do you not know that that's your food that I just microwaved? But yes, so thank you for...
I'm nose blind. I've been cooking, very aromatic stuff for days.
Yeah, it was real good. So. As far as like ease of preparation or the instructions that they gave you?
Generally pretty good. Now, if you're not used to working with Indian food, there's going to be some things in here that some of the techniques are a little bit different than what you might learn in certain other traditions. One of which is just about every Indian cookbook I've ever run into tells you to brown the onions, not just soften them, but to brown them. That takes a while, and you have to watch it pretty closely. So this time I actually took the time to brown the onions, not just soften them. I will say that with the chole masala, it's got it listed under 20-minute breakfasts. I would typically consider this to be more of a lunch or a dinner, and if you read the recipe and follow the timings, it adds up to about 56 minutes, and that's without prep time. So it's not a 20-minute preparation unless you've got some things set up in advance.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, I really liked that one. The butter chicken was also really good. I could think of a couple of things that I would probably have tweaked on that I might do a little bit differently. It recommends using boneless breast meat on the chicken, which is good, but it came out a little dry, and I might spend a little bit less time on the broiler with it. It did recommend to get some browning on it, which gives you a nice flavor, but again, it was a little dry. I'd probably either broil it a little bit less or maybe use dark meat. Boneless thighs would probably work really well on that. The aloo keema, I really liked it. I did wind up making it the way that it said, and then I tweaked it after I had done it. So I added a little bit of tomato paste to it to kind of thicken it up a little bit more. And I found that it really benefited from adding some green beans.
Okay.
So it was good with just the meat and the potatoes, but I like the way it came out by throwing some beans in it. So I will say that if you're looking at these, watch your spice levels, because this is spiced for someone who has become very accustomed to spicy. I like spicy and it's fine, but not everybody in my household does. So anything that says chili powder, it's not referring to the kind of chili powder you make chili with. It's talking about red pepper, ground red pepper. Be familiar with what type of pepper you're using, know how hot it is, and adjust your measurements accordingly. Because if you use the full level with something that is even medium level, you're going to notice it.
Good advice.
Yeah, I cut the pepper level in about half on these, and my counterpart at home was like, this is just about as hot as I can take it.
All right.
So.
Good looking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you appreciated.
Well,
otherwise, you would have been stuck eating
there's
all of
only
it yourself.
so much. Not a problem.
No. I don't know if Julie would have been appreciative of it. But.
You know.
Very cool.
Yeah, so this thing covers a lot of ground. It has breakfasts, snacks, entrees, desserts, beverages. There's a lot of stuff in here, and it's
not too big of a book either.
No, and it's not just a quote unquote authentic Indian cookbook. It has it draws from a lot of world traditions. So there's riffs on Italian, there's riffs on Spanish, there is a thing in here for making tacos.
Nice.
There's a reference to something, an Indonesian dish, which I've never had, but I've heard of. So it's not just an Indian cookbook. There's a lot of British influence in here. There's something that I've heard of before called a chip buddy. It's basically a French fry sandwich. Well, they Desified it and gave it a little bit of a twist. So it's more than just French fries on a bun. So
it's a perplexing sounding thing to have, but I'm sure it's good.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Never tried it. Never seen it on a menu this side of the pond.
Sounds like a late night snack to me.
I think it is. I think it's pub grub.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah,
so yes, recommend?
Yeah. No, yes. I liked it.
Awesome.
As a matter of fact, I'm looking forward to being able to turn it back in because I know somebody's got a hold on it.
Oh, that's right. It's
Yeah.
already popular.
So.
All right. Cool. All right. So.
Yeah. What do you got?
Yeah.
Talk.
My little orphan find, which I had such ambitions for when I bought it a few years ago, but you know how it is. You buy a cookbook and then it tends to
I have a pile of them.
take its place on the shelf, and it's more of a conversation piece. But so Whole Food Cooking Every Day. When I first opened this book a few years ago, I was immediately struck by the fact that it's not so much a cookbook in terms of here is a recipe for a complete dish. It's more like each chapter is a different category, and it gives you a base recipe for things like here's a basic muffin, here's variations, here's a soup, here's variations. So it gives you a chance to figure out what it is you're looking to do and what you're in the mood for, and then kind of riff on it however you feel like. So I would say if you're into meal prep, which I never understood the traditional meal prep of making 5 of the exact same thing and just eating it throughout the week and having it taste progressively worse because it's been sitting in your fridge for 5 days. This is more like make a couple of sauces, do some whatever vegetables you have around, cook those, like here's some steamed, here's some roasted, cook some, like you have all this stuff you can then just kind of like salad bar version of your fridge, and then just kind of take whatever you want and make things out of the components. So this is more of a component cookbook, which I really appreciate because, again, it's really nice to have a little bit of wiggle room with the meals you're putting together every day, but also it's aspirational, I would think. I'm not a person who spends, an entire Saturday soaking and cooking and doing all the food projects, but if I ever decided to, devote a weekend to doing that kind of thing, this is what I would reach for. So that said, it's not going to sound like I did a whole lot out of here. I made a salad dressing, but you know me, I eat a lot of salads. So I made an artichoke salad dressing, which was pretty revelatory actually. So her dressings do not start with like a ton of oil, which I appreciate because olive oil is expensive and I don't want to be chugging that stuff all over the place. So she starts with like a vegetable first, and then adds things that will seasons. So there's a carrot base, there's a beet, there's an artichoke. So this one, here's the base recipe. It's sort of mayonnaise-y, which is cool. You can like leave out some of the water and then it's a dip. You can add fresh herbs, which I just planted a little herb garden, so I added some basil.
Okay.
And I had a bite and I said, oh. And so, you know.
So it's fully emulsified.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the other thing, is they don't separate because it's got a nice solid in there. So for all of you food science people, you want an emulsion that stays.
I've seen some stuff that suggests not emulsifying olive oil. I've seen some things that talk about making mayo out of olive oil and not recommending it.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Well,
I've never really noticed a problem with it. But
sure. Well,
but it worked.
Not being a habitual mayonnaise maker myself, but I did like this. I took a trip to the Asian market over on 13 and John R. this weekend because I thought, well, I have one day off, I should go and have an adventure. So I hopped over there. I bought so many vegetables that I went to put them in my fridge and I said, what have I done? And then I went, I got this. So, because I'll eat everything.
Tis the season.
Tis the season, that's right. So I bought a ton of vegetables, so I did some steaming and some roasting. She has guides for all of these, and if there's nothing I like better than a chart with how to do all of the things for all the, she's got like bean cooking chart, vegetable roasting, steaming. Also, she has a lot of charts on, here are the recipes in this chapter, here's what to pair them with, or suggestions. So it just gives you a lot of room for creativity, which I appreciate. Because again, it's sometimes I don't want to gather 30 ingredients for one thing that I'm gonna get sick of within 2 meals. Instead, you can kind of stock your fridge with all this prepared stuff and then just mix and match, which is my style. So, and just the photography is beautiful. She's got recipes for, breakfast things, for, like I said, soups, different ways to prepare vegetables. It's very informative. It is vegetarian, but she gives options for, you could have this with an egg or you could have it with some cheese or yogurt if you want to, so it's not strict on the vegan stuff. But then, the photography is very colorful. Like I said, it's aspirational, so going through this, you start to think, maybe I want to become the kind of person who hangs out making, nut milk lattes all afternoon or something. But I think all cookbooks are a little bit aspirational.
Okay.
They're supposed to inspire you. The other thing I appreciate about this is it's not, the recipes I have experience with don't feel like you are racing the clock. It's more like assembly than like watch all these bubbling pots on the stove. It gives you a little more time to approach it in a leisurely way. So that's something that I enjoy as well. I think the pacing of it is more approachable than a book that has you doing all this multitasking, and then you get stressed and then something gets forgotten about and then your kitchen's on fire, worst case. But
we don't want that.
We don't want that. No, I don't know if you know this, but that's a bad thing. So definitely recommend. Her first cookbook is a little more traditional in that it has like complete dishes that you can play with, but this one I just really love the structure. And when I go to buy a cookbook, I tend not to buy things that are, like I said, just a full recipe. It's more like I want like reference guides that will let me
You're looking for technique.
I'm looking for
rather
techniques.
Than specifically a
because
that
way, usually when I want to make something, there isn't a recipe for it, so I just have to figure it out. So this is definitely a favorite. It feels like it's been pretty well loved at this point here at this library. It's been checked out a few times by myself as well, but definitely recommend. The other thing I have made out of this was one of her cakes. So she tends to, if gluten-free is the thing that you are concerned with, she does offer, most of her recipes are gluten-free, just because that's...
Yeah, I didn't catch that when you introed it, but I'm sitting here looking at the cover, and it does say that it's gluten, dairy, and refined sugar, you know.
So if those are concerns or something you're interested in exploring, these are really well tested. It does, if you're used to traditional baking and traditional flavors in that way, it might take a little bit of adjustment palate-wise, because again, she doesn't really use refined sugar, but it is fun to explore. So cool. I really liked it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So Brent, thanks for bringing this cookbook to show us today. Do you have any final thoughts on it?
Final thoughts. Try it out if you're interested in the flavors of that part of the world, give it a shot, because it has definitely got some interesting things in it. It's got a lot of flavor to it, and it's not limited to just, you know, half a dozen curries or whatever. It's got good technique. You're going to need a relatively well-stocked spice cabinet, but you don't need to get totally crazy. There was a few things in here that I didn't, you know, normally use, but it wasn't anything that I didn't have. So,
All right.
Yourself?
Very cool. Yeah, definitely recommend this one, especially if you're into exploring some more, you know, whole food, plant-based cooking. That's always my jam personally. So this one in particular, it really, like I said, it really gives you time to explore the different recipes and their variations. And she does have some really interesting flavor combinations in here, so it's worth your time to take a look at those and see what you might like that you may not have known you liked.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today here on Cookbook Corner, and we will see you next time.